And so it's begun. Multiple major PC manufacturers joining the PC handheld arms race. We are still feeling the effects of Valve permanently changing the PC handheld marketplace forever, and Asus joining them a year later with their PC handheld, but now it's Lenovo's turn. It's their turn to unveil their PC handheld, the Lenovo Legion Go. Everything we know about the Legion Go has been reported on by Windows Report, and every image of theirs comes from their article, so let's talk about what we can see. The Legion Go has a plethora of different ports. It's got a headphone jack, 2 volume buttons, a power button, a micro SD card slot, a mouse sensor, an FPS mode switch, and 2 USB Type-C ports. Thank God someone put 2 USB Type-C ports in a device. This needs to be the standard moving forward. As for the quote-unquote mouse sensor and FPS mode switch, I really couldn't tell you what that's all about. It could be interesting to see what they do with this. Now let's talk controllers, because that's the real secret sauce here. On the onset, it looks like a typical Xbox layout because it mostly is, except for that curious looking trackpad on the right side of the device. But the real secret sauce happens when you detach the controller. You can detach the controllers, kind of like this. The big question though is whether or not they'll work while detached, or if they need to be attached to the device or attached to like a controller thingy. There's also a question of how the trackpad actually works. These PC handhelds are starting to put trackpads in their devices, but with the Steam Deck there's more to the trackpads than just moving your mouse around. So ultimately I want to see if Lenovo's going to do anything different with the trackpads. But there's far more to the controller. If you look at the back of the controller, you'll see a litany of different control options. First and foremost, you'll see all of these macro buttons. My first question is, why are all these macro buttons arranged so weirdly? On the left side controller, they're vertically arranged, and on the right side of the controller, they're horizontally arranged. That doesn't make any sense. Furthermore, the right side controller has 2 more macro buttons than the left side. So this is where my crackhead theory comes into play, and if you hear anything about this, you heard it here first, fellas. I'm thinking the right side can be used as a sort of mouse. There's a mouse sensor at the bottom of the right side of the controller. M1 and M2 would be the mouse buttons and you'd have a scroll wheel. And you could glide the right controller on like a mouse pad or something vertically and then use it like an actual literal mouse that way. That's my main theory, but honestly, who knows? So what about the screen itself? What do we know about the screen? Well, Windows Report says it's either 16:9 or 16:10, so your typical standard aspect ratios. If the renders are accurate, then it looks like it has a much smaller bezel than some of the other devices out there, so that's a win in my book. Now let's talk performance, because this is all speculation. It's stated that they'll be using AMD's Phoenix APUs. What we do know is that it's based on Zen 4 architecture with RDNA 3 graphics, kind of like the ROG Ally. There's no telling how fast or slow it'll be compared to the ROG Ally. We also know nothing about TDP, RAM, storage type, and even like the resolution of the display. All of the truly important stuff is up in the air. Windows Report does report that this device is going to run Windows 11 out of the box. Windows is Windows, and this does need custom software to make use of all of its features. That said, we don't know what custom software Lenovo will employ, but I am like 100% certain that Lenovo's going to have their own software. Probably like some sort of Lenovo Legion software or something like that. That said, we can make some assumptions here. Assuming that the performance is similar to the ROG Ally, this will be a pretty good alternative with more features, more bells and whistles. And if the performance is even remotely similar and the price is remotely similar, this is an easy recommendation over the ROG Ally. Right? Well, again, speculation is not reality. We don't know if it performs better or worse than the ROG Ally. We don't know how much battery life this thing has or how big the battery is. We don't know how much it costs, which I think is the most important metric with these devices these days. What we do know is that Lenovo is releasing their own set of AR goggles. AR goggles are kind of out of my specialty because I've never used them before. I've never used any Vitchers or X-Reels or anything of the sort. But these will probably be sold separately because that's just how things work. Do I want to check out this device? I do. Am I gonna get it? Well, it depends, really. That said, I really would love to try it out. I'd love to see how it fares against the king of Windows handhelds, the ROG Ally, and how it fares against the king of all handhelds, the Steam Deck. After all, looks can be deceiving, and while this is very intriguing, there's more to a handheld than just how many buttons it has, how many control options it has, if it has a trackpad. There's also very important intangibles like how it feels in your hands. or how the weight distribution feels in your hands as well. If you liked this video, be sure to press the thumbs up button and spread the good gospel of high-tech lowlife. And if you want to see more high-tech lowlife, be sure to subscribe and press the bell icon for notifications. And for you enlightened individuals, be sure to join my Discord server. And if you wish to support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page, links in the description down below.